You're watching a P-Rob Media production.
What's up, DiaBEAST family, and welcome back to another edition of DiaBEAST Kitchen. Today, we are doing something special. We are making a buffalo vegan chicken sandwich with homemade fries. I'm very excited about this recipe because not only is it fresh ingredients, but I am not using any soy products. This is all natural, people. So with all that being said, I want you guys to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride, and I'll see you on the other side. Holla at your boy. Roll the intro. Welcome back, DiaBEAST family. So what we're going to do first is we're going to start making the batter for our mushrooms. So we have about 2 cups of plant-based milk, and we are adding some vinegar, apple cider vinegar, and we're going to add it to the bowl. And we're going to let it sit for a little bit and make sure everything gets nicely infused and mix it around really well. So that's pretty much it for the wet ingredients until we just start adding just a little bit of quinoa flour in, just a little bit, just to thicken it up a tad bit. So next we're going to start off with our dry ingredients. And yes, we are adding our quinoa flour. I really like this quinoa flour because it is low on carbohydrates and it is perfect for a diabetic. So I added the remainder of that quinoa flour into the wet batter. So now you can see that it is thickening up the way we want to thicken it up. So while those 2 things are sitting, we're going to start preparing our potatoes. I like to cut our potatoes in half, and then I'll take my knife. Make sure you have a nice sharp knife, ladies and gentlemen. And I like to make thin slices just like this. Now keep in mind, these fries don't have to be perfect size. Each one doesn't have to be the same. Just make sure it's nice and uniformed as much as possible. So once I have the thin slices, I like to just make the vertical cuts as well, just like this. Once that is all done, I'm going to put these potatoes and let them soak in water while I take care of my mushrooms. And here are the mushrooms. Now we're using oyster mushrooms. Now what you can do is you can cut these in half. The stems are actually pretty tough. So the higher you cut, the higher you go, the easier the bite is. So the next time I do this, I'm going to cut it a little bit higher than usual, than what I'm cutting right now. Now that I have all my mushrooms all cut up, I'm going to start putting my oregano in. I'm going to put my special seasoning. It's a blend that I use. I'll leave the description below where you can get this blend from. It saves a lot of time. And then I'm going to use some chili powder as well. Once I have all those ingredients inside the bowl, I'm going to mix it around, make sure everything is nicely infused and seasoned to perfection. And then I'm going to use some buffalo sauce and I'm going to add it to the wet batter. Now this is just a secret to make sure you have flavor all the way through each bite. Once I have all that going, I'm going to dip my mushroom inside the wet batter into the dry batter, mix it around. And then I'm going to add it back into the wet batter. This basically ensures that your batter sticks on to whatever you're using a lot more, and it gives it that nice thick crunchy bite that you're looking for. And once that is done, I'm going to add it to the pot. Make sure it's nice and hot. Now remember, you don't have to cook these mushrooms for too long. It's mushrooms, it's not chicken. So I usually like to do about 30 seconds on each side so I can ensure that I have that nice golden brown hue that I'm looking for. And once that is done, I'm going to add some buffalo sauce to a bowl, and I'm going to dip these bad boys into the bowl and make sure I get a nice beautiful coat of buffalo sauce. So now it's time for my secret weapon, and yes, I am using my air fryer. If you have an air fryer, cool. If you don't, just use an oven, it'll be fine. I'm going to add this to the air fryer, put it on 370, cook it for about 10 minutes, and we'll be done. While that is cooking, I'm going to season my fries. So I already took this, drained the water out, patted them down, make sure they were dry. So now I'm adding pretty much the same ingredients that I added on the mushrooms, with the exception of I used some baking powder as well. And then I'm just going to mix these around, make sure all the seasonings and everything that I put in this bowl is nicely infused. I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil, give it a nice shake and mix around. And this is what it should look like, ladies and gentlemen. Nice, seasoned up to perfection. I'm going to add these bad boys to a cooking sheet. Make sure the cooking sheet has some type of tray on the bottom of it. And we're gonna set the oven to 400 and we're going to cook for 30 minutes. Now that we are done, I know that was quick, we are gonna start garnishing what we created. This is actually my favorite part, ladies and gentlemen. Our mushrooms are out and done, and now it is time to put everything together. We have our nice arugula. I love arugula because it has a nice peppery flavor to it. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we are all done. And look how beautiful this plate looks. Now, I have an e-cookbook that I have plenty of recipes like this in it, so make sure you guys download it. It is amazing, wonderful recipes that you guys can eat this food guilt-free. Now, I want to take the time and thank each and every one of you guys for taking the time and watching my videos. You guys could be anywhere in the YouTube space, but instead you're here with me, and for that, I thank you. So I want you guys to tune in, tell a friend, and subscribe. Holla at ya, boy. Peace.